Alright, hello. I've put together this video to try and give you some basic information on how to use InDesign with the new layout. First off, thank you all very much for helping out with this. It's a big project, and it's a big part of a bigger project, which is the UBCMJ, and it takes all of us, and I know you're all busy, so I do really want to thank you for your time. I'll try and keep this brief, and hopefully this will make it so that the actual act of helping out with the layout will be a very efficient process for you. So first off, a reminder, when you're using YouTube, that down in the right hand corner here there's usually the gear button that allows you to watch the video at high speed. So if you're looking, or lower speed, if you're looking again and you want to rush to a part that you weren't clear on, or you're just breezing through it to see if you missed anything, you can use this, and you can speed it up or slow it down as you like. I like that. And as I stutter and pause for seconds, that'll allow you to move quickly through this content. So what we need you to do is to ensure the accurate placement of the text and the accurate spacing of the boxes, all of them, the title, the author information, the abstract, the actual body text and subheadings, and then later on, of course, the references, which will occur with all of the articles, so that Dennis, Anna, and I can take this and stitch it together into something that looks like a really professional finished product for us to send off to the printer and get our 400 to 500 copies done. So the program we're using, of course, is InDesign. It has a few basic features that are really helpful. You can see if I mouse wheel, and I would recommend using a mouse, it just makes it quicker. So if you have a peripheral mouse you can hook up to your laptop, go ahead and use that. When you're using that mouse and the mouse wheel, you can press Alt and then use the scroll wheel to zoom in and out, wherever your mouse is. Then you can use scroll to pan back and forth, you can use Control plus the mouse wheel to pan back and forth. And there are a lot of little shortcuts in InDesign that will make this a lot faster. Another one I want to outline for you is the undo keys, right? Where you might be used to these from your word processing. If you press Control Z, that's an undo. If you want to redo something, so you want to do it again, you press Control Shift Z, as opposed to Control Y, which is what a lot of PCs use. So I'm just going to Control Z and undo that. So your basics of navigating InDesign is you've got your different toolbars, you've got your different selection tools, you've got your different characteristics of your boxes. These are all the corners of the box in the middle, and these are the positions of those boxes. We'll see if I change it, it tells me where those corners are. That's really important when you're doing something in type and everything needs to be lined up very well. You'll also notice that when you click on different things, if I double click on a text box, some of my things change here to give me alignment and indent and whatnot. Most of these characteristics, including font, you won't have to worry about directly, because what we've done is made paragraph styles for everything. So what you do is you go and you select the appropriate paragraph style, and it changes it to it. And if you put everything under the appropriate paragraph style, if we need to change something later, then we can just change it by changing the style options rather than going through and changing the text individually. So that's really important. Make sure you use the paragraph styles. I'll come back to them again in a couple of minutes. So you'll notice everything is in boxes, and this can be difficult sometimes, right? Because you see this is a box with this image in it, and this is another box. So if you need to arrange things to get them to display properly, you can do that by right-clicking and going Arrange, or just kind of clicking around will often get you to what you need, right? So there are a couple main tools. I'm using the Select tool. The other one's a text tool. If you need to draw a text box, you can do this. I don't need that text box, so I'm going to press Escape to go back to my Select tool. I'm going to select it, and I'm going to delete it. Another very important tool, because as I was outlining, spacing is really important. It's a spacing tool. It tells you what the distance is between different box objects. And because this is a complex program, you'll notice that sometimes things don't work exactly how you want it to. It's powerful, which means it can be more complicated. So when it comes to spacing, our spacing will be about 1.0 throughout, pretty much, except for a few places where it will be 0 P6. And the system I'm referring to here, you might have noticed when I had my spacing tool selected, is that this goes by a common type thing we see. Oops, I accidentally moved something, so I'm going to Control Z to undo it. The 3P0. So This counts in units of 12. All that means is 3p0 is equal to 4. So when you're inputting, if you're inputting something, if I wanted to manually change this, I could go to 5p6, and that is actually the same, of course, as 5.5, and it changes it automatically. I'm just going to undo to go back to the proper height. So you get to your select tool. If you're in the text box, press escape, and that will get you to your select tool, right? Because otherwise you'll be stuck in that. Or it's actually putting you in an automatic text box drawing tool. If you're outside of there and you're using something else, let's say you're using your select tool and we want to go to your spacing tool, press the letter U. There's your spacing tool. Press V to get back to your select tool. So those are the two most commonly used. And as I was saying, we need you to check the spacing for us to make sure everything is as it should be. So I put together this PDF that shows us the spacing and gives instructions on inputting article text, which, as I was saying, includes paragraph styles, and I'll get back to that in a second. So you might have noticed there that the spacing here should be 1.0, and it's not. Hopefully your template will properly space everything. If your template that we give you has the proper spacing, then it makes things really easy, right? If it's up like this and you need an extra line, because you've noticed this red dot tells you that you've got text that's going beyond the box, then you can just drag it until it comes here. And then, oh no, now you see you've created a problem. We've displaced some text in here. Well, now we can drag here using the U or spacing tool. Of course, this relies on the spacing already being correct. Because the spacing is too little here, we're going to have to move this down. Every time I click I'm selecting with the select tool, and then I'm just using the down arrow on my keyboard. And every time I click it, it goes down by 0p1, right? So I can use that to get about the correct spacing. For you guys, if you can get it within 0.05 of the spacing, so it's 11p.43, you can find that you'll spend a lot of time doing algebra to get the right numbers, just doing the addition, but you can get it pretty close. As I was saying, your templates should have this for you. When it comes to, say, moving multiple things, you get your select tool and you just drag and make a box around what you want to move. And now you see I've selected all three of these instead of just one of them, and now I can move them down. I can do the same here, but it becomes difficult if I try and just move something down, right? Because now I'm moving down the bottom. But then I can do it here. And InDesign is pretty smart. It knows where the different margins you want are, so it will usually snap to. And that function should come turned on in the program automatically. So you notice I said here I want 1p0, 0p6 spacing. So let's say this is actually a picture that you put in because your article happens to have a picture, and you notice this box needs to be 0p6 spacing. You could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then, okay, well now you know if the spacing was right before, you need to move everything here. Make sure you select all the important stuff. Down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it's bled over here, but that's okay. You just go and you drag it and you line it up. Oh, maybe not quite. Yeah. And you notice that this one isn't quite lined up. So this is the kind of detail that really helps us if you guys pay attention to it. Just keeps everything looking really neat and tidy, so that, yeah, we can produce a really professional looking product. So spacing is a big part of it. So let's say now you've picked this up and you're ready to input an article. What I've done is I'll share a folder with you. I put everything into a folder to make it easy for you to access. You notice you've been assigned academics. So you open up academics and research. One of these should be the right one. You open it up in your word processor. It's a different one. I'm just gonna open it up here, and so I'm gonna copy the title. So you paste it here, and look, oh that's nice. It changes it. It kept the paragraph style for me, right? The paragraph style is article text. This one is author box. This one is can be subheading. Should be subheading. You'll find things won't be perfect. This is a new template we're making.